Saturday morning in the Tyrol. We're in Igls in Austria. Just below us is the Olympic city of Innsbruck. It was the 1964 and 76 Winter Games venue. Judith and Clive Yarnold there celebrating daughter Elizabeth's win in the women's skeleton race that's just finished. Next we get into action, race 7, the Wiesmann World Cup for men's skeleton. Good morning everybody. Welcome Martin Haven and John Morgan trackside. And John Morgan, this Igls track is one often used for rookies, for learners, but it has a lot of difficulty in getting down with good speed.
The reputation is it's a very easy track to get down. It's a very difficult track to get down fast. Tretiakov owns the start record here. He's won on this track because of his start. But we saw this morning, not the best starter wins the race. Lizzie Yarnold came back from a bad first run and won the competition with just great drive lines and great speed in the bottom part of the track. But up here, where it's very slow, you cannot make any mistakes. Going into this Kreisel, the pivotal part of the track, a big 280-degree whip around. You exit underneath where you enter, and you have to launch yourself, slingshot effect into this 8-9 corner combination. The exit of 9 here is probably the most crucial part of a good time at the bottom. Big curve 10, now a 3-corner combination where the athletes 78 miles an hour and into the finish. A lot of G's, and the most challenging part of this track is coming around. You've already come across the finish line, is stopping right here. And this is very difficult for the athletes, and keep your eyes on it today.
Well, 30 athletes go into our first heat of 2. They'll be cut to a field of 20 for the second and deciding run. We've got 12 World Cup rookies, including a first-time starter in the pack. And the man there with his muffler on to try and protect himself from the cold, Martins Ducours, is our World Cup points leader. Well, it's cold, it's cloudy, it's fairly damp, the kind of cold that really gets into your bones. There's Thomas Ducours currently lying second spot in the World Cup rankings. Martins won last time out. His 4th win, beg your pardon, his 5th win of the season. He's only been beaten once, and that was by Ismail Alexander Tretiakov. Tretiakov won the gold medal in Koenigsegg, Bavaria, race 4 of the season. There's Axel Jung, the 2012 Junior World Champion of men's skeleton. Matt Martineau. First man off, Christopher Grother for Germany, 22-year-old. And the German coaches wondering what's going to happen here. Germany off the podium in the women's race. Tina Hermann losing the World Cup points lead by a single point to Janine Flock, who finished in the bronze medal position. Well, Christopher Grother will be first of our 30 starters. Basically, if you're outside the top 10 in the start list, you have got to be looking first of all at getting into the second run, because from Sergei Chudinov on down, from 11th to 30th, half of you are going home. And that's the bare facts here. So for anybody outside the top 20, it's going to be tough getting into that second heat. We've got a few rookies in there. Innsbruck in Austria, final preparations being made for the first heat of 2 here. Race 7 of the Wiesmann FIBT Men's Skeleton World Cup. Young German Christopher Grother first off. 22-year-old soldier from Wernigerode. Junior World Champion in 2013, set the mark for everybody else to follow. I'm Martin Haven, sitting alongside me is our analyst expert John Morgan. And John, we saw Janine Flock in the women's race, first girl out. All right, she's Austrian, but she still set the benchmark that everybody else had to chase, because you get the best ice conditions as the first person on the ice.
Well, it'll be interesting to see. The women's race just ended an hour ago, so how much track prep? You know, it's got warmer. We saw some 100th off the start record in the second run by Maria Giuliani, Switzerland, so we could see a track record here.
So kicking us off then is Christopher Grother of Germany, 2 4th places. His best results this season, they came in Calgary and in St. Moritz. 5:05 getaway. The record is 4:74. And he's probably the only man that can get close to that.
Ice does look like they spritzed it. This track has launched the careers of many bob, skeleton, and luge athletes. It's been a great launch pad for careers for many athletes. Of course, coming to a spectacular city like the Olympic tradition. It's the 64 and 76 games.
This has been the nursery slopes in so many careers. 121 at the bottom, 75 miles an hour and change, and across the line, 53.38. Track record is 52.45.
93 hundredths away. I don't think we're going to see track record using that time as a barometer. This is a good slider, 23 years old, one of them young German guns, and look at the form. He might take his foot to steer off the Kreisel here on the exit. This is the launch pad for the bottom part of the track and comes down. You know, I think you want to be in the middle there.
Well, he's our crash test dummy. Now let's see what our start monster can do. Alexander Chechikov, the Russian rocket, only 10th in the World Cup rankings because he didn't go to North America before Christmas. The Olympic champion, of course. He's also our reigning world champion. A win and a silver and a 10th place this year. Thank goodness, what a starter.
486, so he's 12 hundredths off his own start record. I got to believe Ducars is going to get better than that. I think Chechikov is up to his normal form that he was at the Olympics last year.
Pretty relaxed a couple of nights ago. We were having a pizza in town. The Russians were at the table next to us, chilling out, because unusually for them, they had Friday off and were racing Saturday. Talk about English-speaking universal language. Pizza is the universal language of all athletes everywhere. Oh, Konechny line just managed to hold on to that 103. Same speed as Christopher Groth here, but 4/10 further down the track. 120.8, not as much speed.
He's going to run as Grother. Grother got beat at the start.
53.0, so 38 hundredths quicker. He likes to ride a wild bucking bronco down the track, doesn't he? And he doesn't have much option given the speed that he puts into the sled at the start.
Yeah, you know, he's very tall, very thin, track sprinter, and sometimes doesn't have the perfect lines, but when you have as much fuel in that rocket ship that he's got at the top of the track, you can make driving errors like we're seeing here and still be the leader at the bottom.
Yep, tried to sort out that skid with one steer and then it came back again. He needed another. He's the leader. Here is Hiro Takahashi from Japan's North Island. He lives in Miyagi, or from Miyagi, now lives in Nagano. 30-year-old ex-baseball player.
Pretty good year. World Cup points, 8th. He's you know, he's been hanging in there.
2 top 10 finishes, 7th and 9th are his best, worst of 14th.
They're going to pull the arms like a sprinter. I think his arms aren't coming up. Oh, he's on the sled quick. Arms aren't coming up high enough. I always notice about him. And start time 5:12. It's the second best start. Very proficient, like you would expect the Japanese to be.
He's had good aerodynamic form, and that's going to be important on this track where hundreds can make the difference. Well, again, you know, when Chechikov and Ducars go down, they make everybody else look a little bit off the pace.
Yeah, but he's way better than the German rookie. So high line there at 10. That brings him over to hit that wall.
Lots of toe steering.
So he's
3-4 kilometers an hour down on Christopher Groth here at the bottom.
Yeah, that's
1.2 back.
An eternity of time on this track. So he just didn't have anything going for him.
He was toe steering just about everywhere, second thinking all of his original corner lines.
The start was, you know, not bad, but, you know, here, this is top of the track, curves 5 to 6. On the wrong side into Kreisel. Watch him climb above the blue line. Now he's got to steer down, too much steering. Exit of Kreisel, he's going to have some issues. So, you know, he just never had it going.
Tap dancing all the way down. Marc-Antoine of the USA, 4th in the World Cup rankings. Daytime job being awesome. 29-year-old from Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, our Olympic bronze medalist. And we replicated the Olympic podium, didn't we, back in Koenigsegg? Same 1, 2, 3. Tretyakov, Martins Ducours, and Matt Antoine.
See if Matt can take his long frame and get it down into a 506, which is about 15, 20 hundredths behind Tretyakov.
Good speed, 49.8, second quickest to Tretyakov. Well, his long form hit should help him, should help with the balance, should help with the aerodynamics.
Well, his experience. He's done well in his track before. Olympic bronze medalist in the Sochi Games last year. Fourth in World Cup points just because of a couple inconsistencies. But a good result here today could put himself in a position for a top 3 in the World Cup standings after Sochi next week.
Falling off this sled, though. He's a kilometre an hour down and 6/10 adrift.
He's going to be behind the German.
120.6. It's nearly as quick as Tretyakov, but it's taken him much longer to get there, third place.
Enough of the Tour knows that's not what he expected out of his top US athlete. 6/10 down, wow, and he's 24 hundredths behind Gauthier. And with a much better start. Can't see many problems there. Very good transition, 11, 12, 13. Speed, bottom part of the track. Well, that's where they get up into that high 70s with your chin inches off the ice.
19-year-old Nikita Chegibov of Russia, World Cup rookie, youngest man in the field. Not the least experienced, though. He's had 4 starts already this season, 3 fifth places, and a bronze medal in St. Moritz. Stunning performance from this young man who was 6th in the Winter Games before he'd even started a World Cup level race.
Well, he's a good starter too, so we could see 493 or something, or even better.
Well, anything sub 5 is really good
so
here.
second best start. And this is a teenage phenom right here. This guy he's going to push Tretyakov. He's going to push Shundov down to the 3rd spot, which he is now.
Yep.
He's had some really good drive lines.
And look, he's a decade younger than Tretyakov. How much better is he going to be with 10 years of experience?
How many more guys they got like this back at home?
There you go.
Look at this, coming out. He could catch him on the bottom with some good speeds here.
Long skid out of 9.2, 101.2, fastest we've seen. That's sensational.
This is going to be close.
At the bottom.
This is a phenom. This is a rising star.
Stunning speed. He'll have the lead at the line. Oh, by 300s.
Thomas Blatzer looks on and he knows he's got 2 Russians atop of the leaderboard. He's got the Ducours brothers yet to come, but this looks like a Russian-Latvian duel setting up all the way.
Yeah, Tretyakov, Chegibov, 300s apart.
Wow, and this is sliding. I think he's a better driver of the sled than Tretyakov is now, even though he's got that foot out for a rudder like steering. But speed, he blew everybody away in the bottom part of this track. Only 4 sleds down, but I think he made a statement.
Russia, 1-2. 2 great runs from Tretyakov and Chegibov. Well, the bar has well and truly been set high here in Austria. 27-year-old Dom Parsons from Great Britain, from London, now lives and trains at the University of Bath. PhD student, he's studying advanced engine technology, so he could be good for the future of the planet. It's not all about pushing the car, apparently.
Well, he needs a little bit of a human engine right here, because he's going to need to start at 5, 6.
5 flat, that's a really good getaway.
And he's got a long frame. He's very much built like Matt Antoine. A little thicker than the 2 Russian guys who just came down. I say thicker, he's not. He's tall and thin. I mean, these guys are on top of the leaderboard, look like 800-meter runners. Yeah. And the same with Antoine, the same with Parsons. And if you think back to the Olympics, the original Olympics with Jimmy Shea, Schneider, and all the guys that competed then, they were thicker guys.
Short and compact.
Yeah,
these guys like Gregor Staley and these guys, longer, leaner. 98.9. Speed is low compared to the Russians. 119.6. Is he going to be in third, fourth place? Fourth place behind Christopher Groenhair and ahead of Matt Antoine. Half a second off the leaders, leaves plenty of room for others to get in as he takes the big hit on the wall in the finish area.
This probably ended up a 6th or 7th spot. Not bad, but can't challenge the Russians or the Latvians who are yet to come. But of course, look at the technique, pulling his arm like a sprinter, and now onto the sled. You don't want to rock the sled. We saw Lizzie Yarnold rock out of the lines in the first heat of her women's race. Didn't affect her because she's such a good speed merchant herself.
Big smile from Don Parsons. Gee, I wonder who's coming next. Any ideas, boys and girls? It is Martin Stucurs, our World Cup points leader. For the 5th time in his career, he took the European Championship gold medal last week in France.
Hasn't had a perfect season. He's had 5 firsts and 1 second.
Yeah.
So he's really been off the pace.
Yeah, off the boil, definitely, with that second place. But again, look at the leg speed. 486,
got to be
the
in the
fastest
80s,
start.
80s, 90.
490 puts him right in the
Right
frame
there
with
with
Tregebov
Tretyakov.
and Tretyakov.
And he's the best driver of the, compared to those 2 Russians that are in the 1st and 2nd position.
He can give away time at the start
He's
and
already
still
caught.
drive them.
He's already caught.
He just doesn't like giving away time
Now
at the
he's in
start.
the green. Now watch his form in the Kreisel. Watch this. Look at his feet. Perfect bullet. Do we hear any sound?
Not a bit. No toe taps, no legs sticking out in the air. 700 up.
Another computer game run for Martin Stucurs.
1015, top speed, quicker even than Tregebov.
Oh, really?
122.4. Are you kidding
Really?
me?
Are we seeing something we haven't seen for the last 5 years? No.
52.67, 2/10 off the track record.
Computer game. And this is his biggest difficulty, stopping.
Yep. So much speed down there at the bottom.
Martins, another day at the office. Look at his time.
Leads by 1/3 of a second.
Look at the form. No scratching, no variance, no feet coming out to exit the curve. He's just makes it look too easy.
He is a computer. What goes on between those ears, Lord only knows, and that's where the secret lies. Axel Juncker of Germany, 3rd in the World Cup standings in his rookie season. Just say that again, he never raced in the World Cup before this year. Lowest of 7th, highest of 4th. 2012 Junior World Champion. What a find he's been for the World Cup fans. The Germans knew they had him, knew he was coming. And boy, have they rung the changes this year with the men's skeleton program.
A low 5 start. 502, 503.
5 flat.
That's what he does.
Great getaway.
Speed. And he is very technically proficient. Very quiet on his sled. And let's listen up here to see him hear the tapping of the walls. Let's check it out.
Very little action with the feet. Stays away from the wall. AC76, that's the 2nd fastest.
Now he's got a chance here with the perfect and that's pretty good.
Leads 3 figures, hasn't got it. He's going to drop away again.
Now he just fell off, so that's got to be set up because he's right down the middle of the track. Perfect. 6th. Manish looks on and goes, what? You know, my head, can we just start to say, what do we do there? That's in setup.
Dirk Matchens up at the top, Jens Muller down at the bottom. The 2 coaches of the skeleton team. There's Jens. And they'll have to look at what they've done with the runners in the first heat. You can't change the runners for a different type, but you can change how much contact patch there is with the ice.
Watch his body. He gets a little movement in the lower. Look, see him. He wasn't totally relaxed there. That's where things started to really fall away. Foot comes out a little bit.
Tiny bit, but not a lot of steering correction.
Yeah,
just worried that he's maybe gone too aggressive with the runners. Who knows? We're talking about aggressive and runner. Sun Min Yoon of Korea, this 20-year-old blazing out of the start.
One of the guys Stucurs was worried about. Yeah. Worried about his start time. Him and Tretyakov. So if this guy starts 490, 492, watch out.
Already had a bronze and a silver medal this year. Korea's first ever in winter ice sliding on a Bromley Tech sled.
487.
Wow!
Second best start. Uh-oh. This is his style track. He medaled in Calgary. He would have medaled in Lake Placid, but he didn't have his starter's bib on. Got disqualified. Silver medal in Kunichi. And what a development program for Korea.
Speed second only to Tretyakov, 1800ths of a second back. He's only been to this track once before, so very limited experience of this ice in Eagles.
Time just fell away real quick at the top. He might have found too much steering in like 3 or 4. He should have that start time. She should have been faster than this.
120.4. This is still going to leave him in 4th place. This is a really good run. Bearing in mind, these guys, when they got to Europa Cup, they probably had more race time on the track than he has in the World Cup.
Expecting him to do better because we've seen such a positive learning curve with these guys.
Yeah. Well, the problem is this track is ultra finesse because it's so well known. There's so little opportunity to make a difference.
Look at his size here. Look at the size of this guy. He's thick.
Talk about holiday hams. He is
the speed, though.
quad.
So he's considerably off the pace. But the second best start time, look at that. He's a half kilometer down to Ducars. He was 300s better in Ducars, and Ducars had the better velocity run the first curve. So he didn't negotiate those first 2 curves properly.
10th of our starters is another Latvian. This is 33-year-old Thomas Dukurs, the older of the 2 brothers.
Really?
Yeah, lots and lots of Latvian fans. Traveling Latvian Barmy Army is at every track. And here, plenty of opportunity for them to make a lot of noise at the start.
Thomas doesn't get the starts his brother, so this probably be 495, 496. Should be sub 5.
Bronze medal in the European Championships last week, 507.
I'm very surprised at that. To be 2 tenths behind his brother. Usually he's a 10th. So that's going to be something really tough for him to overcome to crack the top 5.
Well, the brothers share everything in terms of setup and information. And Martins has been struggling with a cold for the last couple of weeks. I wonder if he's managed to share that with Thomas as well.
40 Hundertstel Sekunde in Rückstand. Thomas Dukurs aus Lettland.
Sort of neutralized the bleeding at the time.
From the 9th fastest start, he's up to 8th. Could well be top 5 at the bottom of the track. Here he comes, 7th place, 120.3, but runs out of ice.
Yeah, doesn't have the speed his brother did, not even close. 6.
53.
He's 20 hundredths or 10 hundredths better to start. He would have been in the 3rd, 4th position.
Tied with Don Parsons of Great Britain, who started 5 flat. He started 5:07. But only 1,250 meters of ice, very hard to catch up.
Watch his feet here. I think he had a problem at the start. Something going on, because he should have been within 10 hundredths of his brother. Right here, let's check him out. And his he's got some large feet, I can tell you that. Something wrong with that start, though. I'm glad the team showed us that. There's something happened there at the start.
Martins Dukurs leads the tight Russian battle. Alex Tretyakov ahead of Nikita Tregebov. Dukurs is well clear at the moment. 10 of 30 sleds down here in the first heat in Eagles in Austria. Race 7 of the Men's Skeleton World Cup. Next up, Sergei Chudinov, 31-year-old Russian from Moscow. And from Chudi on down to 30th starter Doron Velicu of Romania. 20 men looking for 10 spots in the race. John Morgan, this is pressure already.
Well, especially on him, he's Russia 3. He did pretty good last week. I think he had 3 Russia 6. And, so Chudi's done well on this track before. He's medaled on this track before, but he sort of got lost with those other 2 guys with their better starts.
Decent speed, not for a leader, but for a top 6 run.
He gets some good speed here in the bottom. He could stay in the top 6.
He's had a very different style of sliding. Woods has his feet apart, uses his knees a little more.
Been around as long as Tretyakov rules. The problems down there, got the speed. He's late. He was late in the exit at 10. And they caught up with him at 12.
Fifth place at the line, three-way tie.
Three guys
Don
tied
Parsons,
to the
Thomas
100th
Dukos, and Sergei Chudinov. And that's what we expect on this track. It's so short, it's so hard to make a difference. You should be close together.
The personality of this track, right there. Three guys tied to the 100th of a second.
So the last two guys that came down, Thomas Dukos and Chudi here, identical times.
Sliding into Ted, taps there before he gets in, and then he comes late near the second labyrinth. Why? Because he had the bad exit of 10. He was late into 11, late 12. He finally caught up with him here in the bottom part of the track.
And there's no time to react at 75 miles an hour. You just go corner, corner, corner. It's all done. Kilian von Steinitz of Bavaria, 20-year-old from Berchtesgaden, the reigning junior world champion in men's skeleton. Germany have the last 3 junior world champions in their lineup here this weekend. Best result, 6th position in Koenigsee, his home track, 3 weeks ago.
He looks about 14.
Yeah.
And young Germans, you know, they just start not great on this track.
Brother Julian racing in the World Championships for Germany in Luge this weekend.
Half second down already relative to the start, and maybe is a little wide in curve 2. On the wrong side of that straightaway. Doesn't sound like much, but this track it's, I mean, you know, we talked about Darlington being the track too, you know, with Altenburg being like Darlington, St. Moritz being like Daytona. Well, this is a short track, but it's not like Martinsville. I mean, this is too easy.
This is more like Indianapolis, where you're talking about real whisker difference in performance. 11th place, he's only got one sled behind him.
13th best start.
Should make the second run. The problem for the sliders coming later is that the track will be slower and slower and slower, so it's going to be harder and harder for the less experienced and less well-performing athletes to beat the guys that have been before.
Exit of Kreisel, slingshot effect, but he gets down on the wrong side. Look, he came out too early. When you see this adjustment out of that Kreisel, and here too, he's a little late there. Look at his, he got his head down, but he comes over and bangs that wall. You want to exit clean.
Doesn't make the steer, takes the tap instead. That's a 50-50 call. Chrome Dome means it's Matthias Guggenberger of Austria. Teammate Janine Flock led the women's race after Heat 1 and finished on the podium in 3rd position. He's just off his best ever World Cup result in 7th place in Altenburg in Germany. But 2 weeks ago in St. Moritz, failed to make the heat.
His father is here. Of course, his uncle Mickey coaches the Swiss, a couple others. So the Austrians used to be the dominant country in this sport of skeleton. Heard stories last night that the Austrian Federation, Sliding Federation, petitioned the IOC to get skeleton into the Olympic sport way back at the '84 Games. Of course, it didn't happen until 2002. But the Austrians were the dominant country in the 90s in the sport of skeleton.
Well, Mickey Grimberger, former world champion medalist, same as Andy Schmidt. They're both still coaching athletes today.
Of course, Janine Flock, bronze medal this morning. She leads the World Cup circuit with the European Championships looming tomorrow morning here on the track.
And she'll be defending her European title on home ice.
First ever female. There's Martin Rettel. There's the bronze and silver medalist from the 2002 inaugural skeleton event in Salt Lake City, Park City.
Well, Guggenberger 11th place ahead of Kilian von Steinitz, so he'll make the second cut as well. Or make the cut for the second heat.
I gotta believe he should have done better than that. Matthias, I don't understand. He gets good starts. Form here, next to the 10 into the labyrinth. Does he come over and catch this wall? Maybe a little rough. Does he come over and does he hit the wall before he gets into that curve? No. Nice transition into the labyrinth, but he had no speed all the way down the track, including a start time that needed to do better.
Well, next up, 35-year-old teacher from Brampton, Ontario in Canada, Dave Krachechin. First full World Cup season for him. 2 8th places to start the year in Lake Placid and Calgary.
Probably the biggest guy in the field, rugby player.
I think he's about the tallest, definitely, out there.
Well, he's also a little thicker than next to the two Russians. He's not that thick, but
he denies that. He says he's under 100 kilos at the moment.
Put him next to Tretiakov and Dukars.
5:15 get away.
Bigger guy.
Well, mass is good because you push a lighter sled, helps you at the start, and once you're lying down on it, it all weighs the same.
Canadians always have done well on this track. Jeff Payne, back in the day.
87.9, that's decent speed.
Melissa Hollingsworth, I think, won here.
13th place ahead of Hiro Takahashi. Well, he's had a string in Europe, 3 13ths and a 16th. 99.4, that's the same as Matthias Guggenberger we just saw. Still in 13th place. 120.5, that's decent, that might move him up to 12th, 13th at the line, 300ths off 12th place. And that might well be enough to put him into the second heat if he hasn't wrecked his ankle on the wall.
Quite a challenge, that finish area.
Yeah. Fast right-hand corner and then a long left-hand braking area.
Start, look at the hand come across. It's like his hand's coming too far across. Then the switch over to get on. I mean, the Canadians invented the one-handed push. It was Jeff Payne who was the first guy to come out with it, Duff Gibson.
Grizzly bear on the helmet, reflecting how difficult it is to pronounce Kricechin properly. Everybody calls him Grizz. Lots more Austrian noise at the top of the track now for Raphael Meyer. Brother Benny failed to make the second heat in the bobsleigh race yesterday in the two-man. Neither Austrian sled made it in. Matthias Guggenberger, his teammate, in 11th. 22-year-old Raphael, the younger of the two Austrian sliders in this race, needs a good result.
Martin Rettel yelling encouragement onto this young first family of sliding in Austria. It used to be the Delacarts. There was Werner Delacart gave the opening ceremonies oath for the Olympics in 1976. His brother Dieter also competed in 4-man. His brother Walter went on to compete in 3 Olympics for Austria. They were in bobsleigh. The Meyers are both. Scouting here, another son is scouting, and we'll see his brother Benny tomorrow in the 4-man.
15th place at the moment. This is the slowest run, and it's going to leave him in trouble. 98.8 and 119 is not good numbers, but the track won't give up much more speed. 14th place, Hiro Takahashi is behind him. Martin Rettel, the coach. 54.09 for Raphael Meyer. Younger brother Sammy, 15 years old, sliding skeleton as well, but he's very unhappy with that run. Exeter 9, I think the big hit on the wall really didn't help him.
Well, it wasn't clean all the way down. He might be too pumped up. A lot of family, friends, and fans, and it's so important for the Austrians to deliver here because they're hosting the World Championships here next year.
Look at that, gets thrown off the wall.
You have the governor of Tyrol out here giving away the flowers, and you know, so they need to do it. He knows he did deliver.
Yep.
Disappointed.
Next year, the 40th anniversary of the 76 Winter Games for the World Championships. 21-year-old Italian Mattia Gaspari next up, second season in the World Cup from Pieve dei Cadori, which is just about 20 minutes south of Cortina d'Ampezzo, one of the legendary Italian tracks. Best result for him this year, 13th place in Koenigsegg.
Start. Southern Tyrol. A lot of these sliders, a lot of the Italians came from the Southern Tyrol region.
He's a Dolomite boy, born and bred. So hence the Italian-sounding name rather than the German-sounding name, which certainly their Luz team, you think of Armin Surgler, the multiple Olympic champion for Italy, sounds like he should be German, and in fact speaks as good German as he does Italian.
Well, he had a few medals at the Olympic Games.
He was the man for the big day. Took over from legendary German Georg Hackl as the benchmark.
Marcus Pratt, the famous luge athlete. He's here in the crowd today. In fact, we saw him. I think he's probably still standing over there.
He was one of the all-time luge legends, and for Austria, a huge name in the sport. Just about this Italian, 14th place. He's ahead of Hiro Takahashi and in front of Rafael Meyer as well.
So both those guys, I think he's in. I think Meyer and Takahashi have to watch out.
Yeah, well, that's a good run from Mattia Gaspari. Just 3 hours by car from home in Cortina, or close to Cortina.
In the labyrinths, speeds 70+ miles an hour. Watch the transition to take on. Oh, he gets on there a little early, had a little bounce. Watch his helmet here.
Bouncing off the ice.
Yeah, comes down low. That's the G-force.
Yep.
Get in there too early. Not happy.
Well, you shouldn't be too disappointed with that. This is a track that demands perfection. Next up, 33-year-old Kyle Tress, born in Pennsylvania, lives in Ewing, New Jersey. Watched the 2002 skeleton Olympic race and went, that's for me. Found US bobsleigh skeleton and, in his own words, never left.
Hasn't had the year he had hoped for. The reason is, start puts him at such a deficit.
Teed it all off nicely with 5th place in the season opener in Lake Placid. But then 13th, 20th, 25th, 26th, and that really knocks the confidence when you're not even making the cut. 14th last week in the first heat, the only heat as it turned out in La Plana. So that shows that he's getting back to the form he needs. Well, 16th at the moment.
That tap there and the exit of the pivotal part of the track. Kreisel is going to put a probably at least a second down at the bottom.
99.0, still in 16th place. Ahead of Hiro Takahashi.
Not by much.
15th, so he's in front of Rafael Meyer and Hiro Takahashi as well. Kept it together through the labyrinth.
Did hang in there in the bottom.
Yeah, he picked up a spot below the Kreisel. Again, not overjoyed with that. Coach Zach Lund, one of the guys he watched in 2002.
Well, the exit, watch him go to the right side of your screen and tap the wall. You got to come out of there clean. It doesn't sound like much, but and then here, you see his eyes. He's looking down. He's also looking at the fact, oh, I'm going to touch over here. And it's better, you know, you got to take your medicine. Just hit, go move on. To try and overcorrect, that creates a pinball effect.
Tiny rub, not going to hurt too much. Next up from Canada, Evan Neufeld from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. I've resisted saying this all year, but he told us when he first came in for headshots, he has never broken a bone in his body. I think it's fairly safe to say that here. Let's hope.
Don't jinx.
Let's hope. 8th place in St. Moritz. What a standout weekend he had there.
Start, not bad. Top 10 start. You get him within that top 10 start, you have a chance to consistently perform, especially on this track. I mean, this track is no forgiveness.
Really good first corner speed, 49.9 kilometers an hour. That's excellent. 9th place.
Got to build a little bit like Ducars.
Losing a little bit of speed back, 12th, a little toe drag there just to tidy the line up.
You start dragging them those rudders, those toes.
Oh, nice exit. Straight as a die down into 10. Speed's not brilliant. He's avoiding rubbing too much of it away. 118.8 at the bottom. I'm not sure the runner choice was that genius and inspired 54-second run. 15th place. Well, Kyle Tress, Rafael Meyer and Hiro Takahashi behind him.
I don't see him moving out of the top 20.
I think Evan Neufeld will be in the second heat as well.
David, thank you.
His teammate going out. In the labyrinths, let's see if he hits this 12-13 combination. Looks good. Helmet. Looking down, look at the speed. He's good run.
There's Evan. All these guys self-funded. There is no funding for the Canadian Skeleton program. Next up, another Canadian stroke Italian. This is Joe Cecchini. He's a cop in Calgary, full-time, slides part-time, slides for Italy. I had to tell him how to say Happy Christmas in Italian when I wanted him to say Happy Christmas in Italian for me. That's how much of a Calgary cop he is. 2 races this season in the World Cup, 20th in Lake Placid, 15th on home ice in Calgary.
Crossover of his hands on driving a Willie Schneider sled. You know, it used to be Ryan Davenport was the sled of choice, especially for many of the Canadian athletes, and now you have a number of different manufacturers. Even the Ducar's got sleds out there.
Ryan kind of half retired now, isn't he, from sled building?
Yeah. And Leanne Parsley back there.
7 kilometers an hour there. 11th at the start. He's in 16th place. So he's going to be hovering right around that Mattia Gaspari Evan Neufeld position. 97.6, a little slower than Neufeld. 118.2 at the bottom.
Yeah, that exit of Chrysler, we started seeing his toes come out. We heard some noises that affected him.
Oh, and at the line, 54.23, 19th of our 19 sliders. So he is the guy on the bubble. Good fun guy to hang out with, Joe Cecchini. Not sure how many times he's been to Eagles. Can't be a whole host. He's had a haircut since Christmas too.
Well, skidding across the ice, toes out, that's a rudder. And, you know, it's so easy in here to critique this, but when you go at 70 miles an hour with your chin inches off the ice.
Well, we see it, and it takes 3 or 4 seconds. For him, it's 2 or 3 tenths of a second to correct that slide and not oversteer it. Joe Cecchini, 19th at the moment. Our race being led by Martin Stukos, and the 20th of our 31st heat contestants is Yuki Sasahara of Japan. He's from Akita in Japan's South Island, long distance runner.
There's a Brownlee sled. Start, 20th best start. So he needs the 20th best start and the 14th or 15th best finish.
Here's his season, 19th, 19th, 18th, 17th, 17th, 16th. He's on an upward curve.
He's made the cut every time,
yes,
so,
he has.
You know, give him credit for that. I mean, so he should come down here at about 18th place.
20th at the start.
Right now he's at 20th.
Better speed than the last 2 or 3 sleds we've seen.
He's still holding on 20th.
That Bromley sled should have speed here. Elizabeth Archik took silver medal in the women's race on one. 99.4. Now that is quicker than about half the field. 120.2.
Should
quicker
move
than
up to 18th right now, so he is flying on the bottom.
Could pick up another 2, he does. Yeah, good run.
Nicky Gruberger looking
so,
on.
19th, 19th, 18th, 17th, 17th, 16th, and now 16th in the first heat here.
Well, he's got the consistency
now. He is crawling up the order.
Boy, for 20th. Here, this wasn't a good exit. He's on the right side of our screen, should be in the middle. You see some feet. Look, he's dragging his toes to try and get over there into the proper part of the track, but he let it fly in the bottom.
Nice job by Yuke. 20 sleds down here in Eagles in Austria. Martin Stukos leads by some margin from a tight battle for the medals between Russians Alexander Chechikov and Nikita Tregibov. 20 sleds down, 10 still to come, but only the fastest 20 go through into Heat 2. 21st, Dave Swift from Great Britain, the 30-year-old, originally from Eastbourne, now lives in Newton Abbot in Devon. His first World Cup race this season, first year back in the first race back in the World Cup for a couple of years, has just tied up the Intercontinental Cup Championship. That is the second tier of sliding. And look at those legs. 4.95, that is one of the strongest starts in the field. His dad actually trains Great Britain's Olympic sprinters.
That's what he was. He was at a tryout camp. They grabbed him, go 1,600-meter sprints, and all of a sudden come try skeleton. And took his first rides and never looked back. Loves it.
But he is so full of confidence.
Yeah, he's doing good. 2,400 down. Just listen.
Fourth place. 87.8, good speed. Slip one to fifth, 99.1. Not bad considering how late in the run he's going.
He could take a challenge one of his teammates.
Could be a top 6 finish. John Parsons in a 3-way tie for 6th at the moment, and the line is in front of them. Great run. That is a good job, Swifty.
Hello.
Swift by name, swift by nature.
Wow, I mean, this is impressive.
Welcome back, Dave Swift.
That knocks Cecchini out of the
Joe Cecchini of Italy is out of the race.
Well, we have somebody else from Great Britain who's going to be successful in this sport. Why? Because he could start. Sprinter. You're going to recruit somebody.
He made a few World Cup appearances a couple of seasons ago, 3 years ago as well. He is back.
Maybe.
Intercontinental Cup champion for the season. Well, next up, another bear on the helmet of Canada's Barrett Martineau, ski jump coach. And one of his tricks, like British coach Lee Johnson in the bobsleigh, he can do a standing back somersault. And that means lots of spring in the legs. What about the start? Just seen a 4.95, that's a 5.07. That's a good getaway as well.
Not bad, not bad.
Well, he has made the cut 3 times, missed the cut 3 times in his rookie season in the World Cup.
Ski jumping? Ooh, that's bad up there. You hit up top like that.
14th at the start, down to 18th place now.
He's going to be struggling with that tap up top. Another tap there. That's 2, 3 strikes in a row. He's got 2. He gets one more tap like that, and he will make the cut.
Long skid, not too long, 98 kilometers
He's
an hour.
hanging right on the bubble.
Yes, he is. It's him or Hiro Takahashi.
He's way
out.
back now. He's out now.
He's lost speed at the bottom. Takahashi is safe for the moment.
Those 2 taps. Oh! Take it back.
Wow, tied with Rafael Maya.
We were throwing him under the bus, and he found a way to get in there.
I got to stop listening to you. Barrett Martineau found it in the final couple of meters.
But the speed didn't even show it. He was at 22nd on the exit of Kreisel. Up top here, watch this. Late and come over, and this is a hard bang up where you have to be so quiet when you're steering, and that didn't help. Now watch the right side of your screen how it is. Now he's skidding all the way over here. He's trying to stay off that wall. Boy, that's a lot of energy going in the wrong direction.
Well, there is Barrett Martineau. All 3 Canadians in the race at the moment. Next up is Korea's Han-Sin Lee, 26-year-old rookie. He too has been doing the Intercontinental Cup for most of the season. Did the 2 North American World Cup races, 23rd in Lake Placid, 22nd in Calgary.
So Takahashi just got knocked out.
So he's 0 for 2 trying to make the race. And Barrett Martineau and Rafael Maya are tied 19th. They'll either both be in or both be out.
Lee does at the start, boy, see way back. So this is the surprise that he doesn't have to start.
Well, you know, when you're 21st to 30th in the world, that's pretty much where your start is and where your driving ability is. Hasn't won any races in the Intercontinental Cup this year. He's been sort of top 6, top 8, so still work in progress for the coaches.
Well, the people who win down there are like the people who win up here. They have the best start times. There's no secret to success other than in this sport. You better have a good start. Especially on a short 1,200-meter track. Personality of the Eagles. This is
23rd place run, all the way down the track. So he misses the cut, and he will watch the second heat from trackside. Whoa! Do not put your hands out in front. Saw Emma Lincoln-Smith break her wrist trying to stop like that in Winterberg a few years back.
I don't know what you can do to stop properly. Look at the...
I'm sure a quiet prayer to the Buddha doesn't hurt.
He's got that toes out, and of course he's got that darker shield. We can't really see his eyes too well. Now watch this. That's not good for your hands or your wrists right there.
Hands up.
I think hands up. Yeah, you get your hands up. Take your...
All you need is one little lump in the ice there, and it'll snap your wrist. Well, next up, Alan Blackwell, the 27-year-old rookie from Jackson, Mississippi, took his first ever trip on the skeleton when he was 14 years old on his birthday. I pointed out to him last night, that is nearly half his life ago. He is 27 today.
His nemesis is a start. And 24th best start. He says he wants to be the first-born Mississippian to make a Winter Olympic team. It's a great ambition, great goals.
He was talking in the change rooms the other day saying, I get up in the morning, I want my body to be athletic, my body doesn't want to be.
Well, this sport is, yeah, you have to be an extreme sport athlete.
87.2, that's good speed, 54.2 miles an hour.
He started 24th, and his rank is 24th.
If he can get up to 99, maybe close to 100, 99.1, that's not bad speed. That's the same as Dave Swift off a 4 fastest start.
And he's bringing it back, but he's still going to run out of track.
Come on, the Gator chef from Mississippi doesn't make it in. 54.52.
24th start.
Well, happy birthday finish to Alan Blackwell. He's an entertaining guy to be around as well.
His birthday too?
Birthday today, 27 years old.
Alan, congratulations.
He's been sliding for 13 years. Did his first as an English project.
Well, real high in the back of that sled and down in the labyrinths here. A little late. Watch the crossover. His head's up quite a bit.
Coach Zach Lund chatting away to him. Zach was sliding while Alan was learning about it in school. Next up, mechanical engineering student from Switzerland, Ronald Alderset, 25 years old. Has made the cut twice this year in Calgary, a real gliders track, and in St. Moritz, where again, good aero form that is drilled into here in Eagles would really work well. Let's see if he can make this number 3 getting into the race.
Another one of our young guns that are out here.
Well, start will be 5:16, and that gives him a shot. 19th fastest start, but from here on in, he has to just be perfect. 49.3, that is great momentum for a 5:16 start.
He's a student, mechanical engineer student. So he's got the angles figured out. All he needs now is an athletic start time. And right now, he's right on the bubble. 20th place, 21st. If he gets some speed here in the bottom, he could get the top 20.
This could go either way. Didn't have the skid. 98.3, maybe not quite enough.
118.
Drifting out to 2030. Hasn't got speed on board, and that's him done for the day.
22nd.
22nd
Michael
place.
Grunberger looks on and says, well, that's what we expect when you don't have a start.
Yep.
Coming late.
5:16 empirically not a bad start, but not quite enough. He needed a bit more speed from the track, and it wasn't giving up. Switzerland's Ronald Alderset.
Exit of Kreisel.
See that?
Slingshot. He didn't slingshot down. He
Gouge all the way down the wall where everybody hits.
And then he's late here too.
Yep. Little late off 9, causes the skid and the tiny tap.
And we watched two cars, remember, a long time ago, come right down the middle of the track. I mean, he never missed anything. So there is some magic to what he does.
Next up from New Zealand, coached by Ben Sanford there, is Rhys Thornberry, 24-year-old. Heading back to home in the UK, he's an RAF weapons tech at Bryce Norton. He's going back for 3 weeks before the World Championships.
Go, 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 go,
Looking to try and make the cut for the first time in his World Cup rookie season.
Got on and his legs spread. Didn't like the way his arm. He's going to need some more start technique. You can see his arm needs to pull like a sprinter. Pull yourself through. And, of course, it's easy to say, but when you become good at it, when you do 1,000 dry land trainings, you know, it's a technique.
Well, only started 2 years ago. He did a little bit of Europa Cup, a little bit of Intercontinental Cup in the last 2 seasons. This is his first full-time season, in fact, at any level.
Ooh, out really early on the Kreisel. He's destined to look like about a 23, 24th place finish, but you know, he's got a 4-year goal. He's got a 4-year commitment from the military, so
he does.
He'll be out here representing New Zealand.
1:17.6, and at the line, 25th position ahead of Alan Blackwell.
And he's Ben Sanford will come in the box and do the commentary in the second run.
Could well be. If he can get down the bottom here in time to start the heat. So the Kiwi is in 25th position. We have 4 sleds left to come.
And on the bubble still. He's been there for a while. Well, there's a tie there.
Yeah, Barrett Martineau and Raphael Meyer. Again, dragging down the exit of the Kreisel. You see that big gouge in the wall where everybody hits. Same on the exit of 9.
Late here again. We've seen all the last 6 or 7 sleds be late, especially here at curve 9 to 10. And
he gets a big skid, so he avoids the wall, but he has the skid instead.
So if somebody beats the 2 guys, that Raphael Meyer and Martineau, that are tied right now, that means we'll have 21 sleds in the field.
Or they're both in or both out.
No, they'll be both
20th, yeah?
They'll both be 20th.
Well, next up from Samaden in Switzerland, next to St. Moritz, is 30-year-old Greek slider Alexandros Kefalas. 25th in St. Moritz, 23rd last week in the first heat in La Plana. Now really works full-time running his own estate management business and slides occasionally. Cresta slider as well.
We saw him at the Dracula Club.
Yep, we did.
We were imposing on a few people. Dracula Club is the club that's in the Gunter Sachs Lounge at the top of the bobsled track in St. Moritz, and pretty exclusive place.
Didn't see Frank Rommel there. Kristen Bromley, not Kristen Bromley. Frank Rommel, a member of the Dracula Club as well, always stood with their logo on his helmet. Retired at the end of the games last year. 27th place at the moment for Alexandros Kefalas. 98.3, that's not bad speed.
He enjoys it, that's for sure. Head's way up.
You gotta love this because it doesn't pay.
The only reward is a march in the Olympic parade, or if you do it like 2 cars, maybe there's some kind of a commercial value, of course, but he's won 37 times. We're trying to figure that out of how many races. We figure 50 races. He's won the last 36 or 37 times.
Yeah.
And the only reason he won't win today is to be self-induced. Skidding. Boy, everybody's skidding on that exit of 9.
Really hard to get it straight. One of the key elements of this track. The flag of Greece on the underside of his sled. Now from Barcelona in Spain, 31-year-old Ander Mirambel. Wrote a book during the summer about his road to Sochi. Trains with Espanyol, Barcelona's other football club. And so far this season, hasn't found the form he had last year. He's yet to make the cut in any World Cup start.
He's just been a disastrous season. I was talking to him about it. Injuries, surgeries. He had a surgery in the season. He's been training, and you know, he looks like he's running fast, but he's not. And in Königssee and in St. Moritz, he had some rough rides. I mean, he didn't come down the middle of the track. He had a Königssee and Kelstein. He was off the sled. I think at St. Moritz, I think at Horseshoe, he had some kind of adventure.
Needs to find the speed, needs to find the confidence as well.
Yeah, he just doesn't have it going this year.
Yeah.
He knows it. He'll be the first one to tell you everything.
And that makes it really tough. You know, he's a couple of spots away from being able to earn a place in the World Championships. I was talking to his teammate Maria Montellano this morning. She's in the same position for the women. A couple of places in the World Cup rankings she need to move up before they'll allow her to go to the World Championships. So we might not have either Spanish slider in Koenigsee, in Winterberg rather, in a couple of weeks. He doesn't make the cut here again.
Nobody puts more effort into it, that's for sure. Good form here, but maybe too much form. Maybe too much steering. I don't know. He just looks like he's fast, and then he hits before the finish line. That's a couple hundreds.
That's the whole deal, isn't it? The confidence isn't quite there. He's not really 100% with his Huber sled.
Doesn't know.
Needs the points. He's not sure he's going to get them here today. Now then, World Cup debut. Last week it was twin brother Nick. Today it is Dean Timmings. Watching back home in Perth, Western Australia will be their mum. Sole comment on the race last week was she texted Dean to say, "You didn't shave." She saw him in shot up at the top. So he has shaved today, and he is starting his first ever World Cup race for Australia.
We asked their coach Brian, well, what's the story on the? The Australians only have one position because of the World Cup points from last year, and so they can only have one slider at a time.
5:27 getaway for Dean Timmings on his debut.
But next year they've already qualified for two, so you'll see both of these twins, fraternals,
and/or John Farrow, so you've got three guys in the mix there.
And John Farrow is not sliding graciously because he's hurt, he's wounded, he's trying to get healthy for the World Championships. John, more experienced.
And the same deal with Ed Smith from the UK. Struggled all year with a leg injury, and so
yeah, time to get healthy.
Definitely. That might be the end of Farrow's sliding for the season. 97.2 kilometers an hour for Dean Timmings. Tidy looking run, a little late into the labyrinth. Not going to make the cut on this occasion, but he has made his World Cup debut. There's his twin brother watching. Nick was in that position last week, and he had the tough ice in La Plana to deal with.
I asked him about what it's like. You're up here, it's winter, and down there it's summer, and he said, we're out of the heat of Perth.
Yeah.
So,
well, you can go to Fremantle if you want to get out of the heat of Perth.
Yeah. But typical Australian charisma.
Yep.
And the lines, the feet, this is all the experience factor. He skids into the 11, 12, 13 combination.
There you go. Has he had a well, he may not have had a shave. Oh dear, letting his mother down again. There'll be text flying. Dorin Velikou of Romania is our 28th and last slider. And Maria Matsalou, his teammate, 11th place in the women's race, her career high so far.
And she had the 7th best start time, so that's impressive.
Made his World Cup debut in Koenigsee, Bavaria back in 2013 in February. Billy Schneider built sled.
16th best start. You can work with that 16th best start. He has a chance to get in the top 20.
These two young Romanian sliders are
like
starting to move up a little. 49.4 speed.
Big drift, though, between 2 and 3.
In the race at the moment.
Yeah, but he's going to lose more time. That drift, I didn't like that drift at all.
17th spot. He's limited the damage. 87.5. That's good speed. Oh,
snuck out of there.
Scared
Still holding on 17th.
98.
If he comes down, there'll be 21 people on the
99
field.
kilometers an hour. That is good speed. He is going to be in the race.
It's great.
15th spot.
Last man down, and he's going to steal a spot.
119.9. That's a good run from him. Dorin Velikou. Well done.
Scenario team.
Good job. The Romanian coach is smiling more this morning than I've seen him in a long while. 53.90. Great race from Maria Matsalou in the first heat. Great first run from Dorin Velikou. High five from Brian Voigt.
But listen, there's nobody you root more for than the Romanians. They do so much with so little. Look at that smile.
Yeah, that's what you need. 21 sleds will go into our second heat. He's 15th. We had a tie for 20th. But the man who is striding away with this race is Martin Stuckhaus. The gap third to second is 300ths. The gap second to first is 3300ths. A third of a second.
Superman doing what he does best. It was like a video game.
Whoa.
He came right down the track. He never varied. You never heard a noise, a scrape. Just another day at the office for a guy who's impeccable what he does out here.
What a machine. What a machine. Martin Stuckhaus leads by a third of a second. Tight battle between Tretyakov and Tregebov for the medals. Sun Min Young, Christopher Groothair, probably out of the running, but what can Dave Swift do in his first World Cup race ahead of teammate Don Parsons? And we go down to Raphael Meyer and Barrett Martineau, tied with the Austrian for 20th place. They will both go into Heat 2. We'll have 21 in our top 20. Hiro Takahashi, Ronald Alderset and the rest will join us on the sidelines watching Heat 2. Join us too, if you can, please, when we come back to the action here in Igls in Austria. 13:15 GMT, 1:15 GMT, 2:15 Central European time. Join us for the action. Until then, bye for now.
Es ist immer Zeit,